Hey, folks, welcome to July 7th. And you know what? It's the beginning of the month. And you know what? Send your stats to Tony. That's the first order of business.
Yeah, yeah.
So any of the transactions you've had with other members, let Tony know. You just have to do an aggregate total number, and so that way, and you'll understand why in a few seconds. But let me share the website with you, and the website is pbex.ca, and that's for the Phoenix Business Exchange. pbex.ca. You should be seeing something there. Oh, look at that. Lord Tundred, member of the week, Mr. Josh Lamb. And what does Josh do? Well, he works on computers, whether you're a solo unit or you have a whole fleet of them. And in which case, he helps manage the IT in the background, everything from the OS operating systems to network connectivity, websites, and the list goes on. Want to know more exactly about Josh? Just tap his e-card and you'll find more information, or grab his video. So, how to get here? If you're looking from the outside in, click this red button right here. It says Monday morning, 8 to 9 Eastern. And you'll be rolling in on our location right here, right now, the Zoom link. Wednesday. We meet Wednesday also. Same deal, 8 to 9, and Thursday. So East End's meeting on Wednesday and South End meeting on Thursday. Oh, July 8th. That's tomorrow. After hours group, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you are a Phoenix member, come on in. It's about accountability and just staying on track. Penny Lee Prevo hosts that. And she just kind of, you kind of say where you're at and what you're doing. And there you go. East Trade wins. That's tomorrow. That's us. Come on in, free to attend, 8 a.m. to 9 Eastern Standard Time. All people are welcome. We have some speakers coming in, and we have speakers every week. So free to grow your network. Tuning in with Tony on Fridays, 1:30 p.m. If you had a hard week, this week it's on the 11th. If you've had a hard week, or you're just having a good week, but you just need that. Yeah, he won't use his gongs, but he will get you tuned in. Sound bathing event, oddly enough, speaking of gongs, that's July 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. And Reawaken Your Radiance Retreat, the July 19th. Who's that one, Tony?
Oh, Elaine Cooper is doing that, and myself. We're both setting up a retreat in Wakefield, Quebec, and it's basically a day of learning how to use raw food. There's meditation. There's a sound bath in there. There's going to be a lot of things regarding just trying to connect to yourself in nature. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It should be it's for the day. So it'd be a lot of things regarding yoga. I think there's yoga in there. So yeah, Elaine has some great itinerary going for that day.
Oh, Tony, perfect. And it's a pretty part of Quebec on the in that area.
It
So,
is.
so
Yeah, it's beautiful.
and it's a good drive. Penny Lee's got the movement is medicine with Nia classes. So if you have the taken care of in your life, this will keep your body and your muscles moving and limber, which is important as we age. Unless, of course, you happen to be 15 and you're just bouncing around. Friends Friday potluck with Penny Lee on July 11th, and it's at 6:30. Not a Zoom event, and it involves food, and you have to bring some. South End Group is meeting in person July 24th at 7:30 a.m. So earlier I was mentioning Thursdays and Zoom, and the South End Group on that day, no, it's in person, 7:30 a.m. at River Lounge. You hear somebody talking today and say, hey, listen, I want to know more about them. Click the QR directory for all members. And you'll notice the QR code over my shoulder. And that's where that's coming from. It provides a quick snapshot of who that person is, how to get a hold of them, whether it's a phone number, an email, whatever the element is, plus a little video. And each of us have our own little video content in there. So it's a quick way to understand who and what we are and what we do. What else is happening? All the Canada food covered. That is the charity of choice for this year. And that is all about a golf tournament that's coming up, which we will talk about a bit more. That's coming up September 4th. E-cards. I'm going to go back to e-cards again. So we've had 2,092 hits on those cards collectively. So people have 2,092 times have opened up and said, hey, I want to chat with that person. Business done between members since 2016, $4.9 million worth of business. Year to date is 129,000. And that just shows that's referrals. And it's tied back to business activity meetings, which are BAMs, which means we meet with each other and then what's going on, what's current stats, et cetera. Anything from, geez, it's time to change your snow tires, which might be a bit late right now, according to Sam. Or, if you're filing your taxes because Eric's going to be doing the accounting for you and your business, he may be saying, it might be a little late by now. And Tony, I'm going to swing over to you so you can do the educational moment.
Okay, Bernie, just setting things up here. Okay. One thing I've been listening to, I was had a chance to go through this weekend, and the odd time I'll look on Facebook and all the businesses that are really driving home to up our income, to be able to make more money doing whatever it is that they're doing. So, they call that income. If you want to increase your income, and then they give you a 5 ways to do it. And I wanted to mention something because this is sort of it's done backwards. Because when we look at income, I mean, the only thing that will really apply to this directly is our accountant, our fine Eric Sinego. He looks at income as it's on paper. But from a business standpoint, income is not income. That's outcome. Okay, the income is what happens inside of you. It is your self-worth. It is your self-validation. It is you know that you are worth something. And because of the way your business is structured, I mean, I think most of us can pretty much agree that if you had no bills, you would, and if you love what you do, you would do it for nothing. You would. So the reason we have to charge anything is because it's based on all the expenses we have, the rent and everything else, staff and all that kind of thing. So that is our income from an accounting perspective. But that really is outcome, because what we have inside is, what am I worth? If I can ask, Eric, would you do a tax return for $100? Probably not. Would Sam, our fine accountant, would he work for half of what he's doing right now? Probably not, because he's really good at what he does. The reason he charges what he does is because he's worth so much more, because we save a lot of money when we go to him. So that's an internal work. This is what I'm worth, and this is my price. If somebody said, how about if you say, okay, I work for $150 an hour, whatever it is, let's say. The person says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 50. And, so sure, why not? So what does that say about you? That you don't think inside you're worth 150, you're just saying it, and when somebody offers you less, you grab it. So when you say, no, sorry, I can't do that, you're doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, the most important thing, because you realize what that type of business transaction will do. You won't have enough to be able to get it there for the end of the month. So someone else is forcing you to not make your payments, to not make your month. So, but the inside, more importantly, is I know I'm worth 150 or 100 or 200 or 500, whatever it is. If Tony Robbins were to coach you, do you think he is worth $1,000 an hour? Most people would say absolutely, because in that hour, man, we go through so many things. In that hour, I'll probably save $5,000 in my business, because he goes right to the core of everything. But then I've seen people that coach for $50 an hour, and it's not worth it. And I've taken some of those services, and it's like, at the end of it, it's like I didn't know as much as I thought when I started. I'm more confused. In other words, what you offer has value, and the internal part of you knows this. So the income, really, from a business perspective, is the inside work. The outcome is what happens. As soon as you realize what your worth is, the outcome is money and all the people, the clients that come to you, the people that you will serve. That's outcome. from a business standpoint. But so we have been sort of duped, and we have been sort of programmed to say you got to focus on your income, and they're of course talking about the money coming in, but that's backwards. When you say I've got to focus on my income, it's more like self worth, all these other things regarding self. That's all the inner work. I know my value. I know when somebody comes to me, when they leave, they will have a boatload of things that to do, and I'll be following up to make sure that they get all that done. That's what they're paying for. They're paying for clarity in my situation. They're paying for getting things right on target. They're paying for things that they didn't know that the Spirit was able to tell me that I was able to translate to them. That's why people come, because when they leave that they came in confused and down, and their energy was down, and they leave and they're floating. So what is that worth? So in other words, your income is your inside work. Your outcome is what happens outside. Okay? If you want to increase your income, make your self-appreciation higher, and then it will mirror itself on the outside. Back to you, Bernie.
Tony, thank you so much. And folks, here is the LinkedIn feed to our live presentation. And we'll start doing member introductions and tell us what's been happening in your week. And Kara Lee and then Eric. Kara Lee, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bernie. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all. Sorry I missed you all last week. I hope everyone had a great Canada Day. With regards to what's happening with us here at the Canada Food Cupboard, obviously we're in full gear getting ready to plan our planning of the big golf tournament, the PBX golf tournament taking place in September. So that's high on our priority list right now to get all that up and running. But I just wanted to share one other update with regards to our school snacks program. I believe I mentioned this to you probably about a month ago, or maybe even a bit longer ago, that we were revamping our school snacks program. Well, some exciting news from us over the last couple of weeks. We have 2 new fridges, and I know most people wouldn't get excited over new fridges, but at the food bank, we do. We received a lovely donation of a double wide 54-inch stainless steel fridge that is going to house all of our school snacks, fruits, yogurts, all of those sorts of wonderful things. And then we have another fridge that we were able to get that's going to be our distribution fridge. So that's where the clients will actually take those items out of, and that's a 28-inch fridge. But the exciting part for us in the charity world is we had one fridge donated and the other fridge we got through a grant. So it's wonderful that our community is continuing to support us at the Canada Food Cupboard. And like any charity, capital purchases, we do have to put a lot of thought into them. So when we can get them donated or get grants to purchase them, it goes a long way. So thank you again for the ongoing support of the Canada Food Cupboard. And if we're not your local food bank and you have another one in your neighborhood, please continue to support your food banks, because this is the time of the year when everybody needs a little extra help. So thank you, and wishing everyone a great week.
Carly, thank you so much. So if you know somebody that's a gift basket provider and have them reach out to Penny Lee, there's a need for that service inside the Phoenix group. We'll do Eric and then Josh. Eric, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bernie. This is Eric Sonego from the soon-to-be merged CA Pros accounting firm. We are located in Canada. We rarely charge $100 for taxes because we know what we're worth, and because over the years the tax client has changed. Over the years, like the tax client I did in 1995 does not exist anymore. That person with a two or three T slips doesn't exist anymore. And we in accounting sometimes, especially the people in small towns, have trouble, grasping that, because everybody that comes through the door here is a problem. It's not an easy tax return. So the average price we charge for a tax return sometimes is $500 to $800, and that's on the cheap side. And I have friends in accounting who tell me that they lose money on the tax season. So because they haven't adapted to the fact that the tax return that they do is no longer the same tax return. The client has become a very problematic client. So we don't advertise for tax returns. We do tax returns by accident or by the people who we do corporate year ends. We don't compete with H&R Block, because if you can go to H&R Block, don't go to an accountant. But H&R Block already charges $200 and $300 for a tax return. So we know what we're worth, and we act upon that knowledge. Everything else is on the chat line if you want to know about me, except I have to change the what you see in the chat line because our name has changed this morning. So yes, you can. We still have the same phone number and same address, but our email will be different and our webpage will be different. Have a great week.
Eric, congratulations on the changeover and merger.
What's
Thank
the
you.
new name?
CA Pros.
Ah, I like it.
Excellent. So, in follow-up to Canada Food Cupboard piece, the charity golf tournament, there is the link to sign up for $88, 9 holes, best ball. So if you're a golfer, wonderful. If you're not a golfer, still wonderful. There's a cart involved, 9 holes, and there's probably a pint on the fairway to work with. And we're going to swing over to Josh, and then we will go to Shane. Josh, over to you, sir.
Morning, folks. I'm Josh Lamb. My company is Sterling Grace Technologies. We are your one-stop shop for all of your IT needs in Eastern Ontario. Half of what we do is managed services, so that's supporting you and your team. Anything from, I don't know why my email won't send, or I have a spreadsheet that's not doing what I expect it to do, all the way up to I have a server that needs to have custom software written for it, or it needs a disaster recovery plan. Sometimes it needs that disaster recovery plan yesterday. Very important to make sure that you've got those bases covered. The other half of what we do, as I kind of alluded to in the server mention, was we build custom software with a focus on web. And so that starts with your brochure-based websites that basically just showcase what your business does and can drive leads and new referrals and new business to you. Up to e-commerce based websites. We use WooCommerce and WordPress for that, with integration into other systems. So if you have a customer relationship management system, then we can tie in the orders that you receive into your workflow processes and then automate those processes so that you can scale. We also automate integration into systems like QuickBooks Online so that your orders that are received from your customers are automatically entered there, and it saves human error and duplication in your data entry. So if you're looking for a way for your technology to stop just costing you money and to start really being able to scale and make money with your technology and leveraging that, then we are your partners, and we can help you do that. So I'm Josh Lamb. The company is Sterling Grace Technologies, and we look forward to helping you scale. Thanks.
Josh, thank you so much. And next little bit of promo is the East Trade Wins. So that is the link to get into the Zoom, and you can either save it to a calendar or just reuse the Zoom link. And I believe I was going to say, did I say Dwight? Dwight's up next.
No.
Shane. Ah, you're the other Dwight. Okay.
Hey, that's okay. I've been in the sun a lot here lately, and I'm trying to, get a little bit more color right now. But all good. I'm Shane Bills, Pro Action Health and Performance. Guess what time it is? It's golf season time, as we've been talking about the golf tournaments here coming up for PBX and the Canada Food Cupboard. But they often it's the rotation part that people are worried about. But the bigger thing is, where are you supposed to rotate and get your power from? All golfers out there, see any hands? Oh, there's a hand. It's in your hips, right? You're supposed to drive the hips through, rotate through there. Now, what do we see from people that even are, golfers or play youth sports? Their hips stop moving a lot, right? And we all know arthritis sets in when we turn our hips to the inside part. So that's where your foot goes outwards and your knee kind of comes inwards. Your hip is rotating to the inside part. Now, when we lose that internal rotation, where does our rotation come from? Oh, yes, Josh. Excellent answer. It comes from your knees or your back. And most of the time I'm hearing low back pain because we're all swinging for, to make a good shot. Wrong. We're swinging for the fences, right? We're hitting as hard as we can, try to get that long drive out there that might slice one way or hook the other way. And we're really generating a lot of power and rotation through our knees. Our knees are more hinge joints. They're stability joints that, they bend forward and backwards mostly. There is a rotation component to it, very small, minimum rotation kind of component. And our backs aren't really made to do a lot of rotation either. They're made to kind of go forward and back as well. Another stability joint rather than a mobility joint. Yes, we've already talked about hips. Hips are your mobility joints, right? So when we don't get that mobility from our hips, we have to compensate other ways if we continue to rotate to our further capacity. If we're not doing that, then yeah, you might be okay because you're not using the joint to do that. But when you don't use something, yes, Josh, excellent answer. You lose something. That's exactly right. So when we go in and start losing those joints, that's why we do motion in all different ways. That's why we say, don't just golf. Don't just ride a bike. Don't just run. You need to add in those extra movements so that your body gets used to doing the movements that we're meant to do, and we don't actually end up locking down just forward and back movements or just side to side or whatever sport or activity that you're doing. So we do a simple exercise that starts out with people call it a swivel chair or something called windshield wipers or whatever. So it's kind of where you're sitting like on a chair. So I don't know if I can hook this up here. Can you still see me maybe? Here's that. Good. So, my wife's gonna help me here. So you're just be sitting on a chair. Sometimes I go to the corner of a chair so you can see the corner here. I'll turn on the light here. We get a little bit more through here. And what we're doing is just keeping our hips straight forward. We're kind of rotating our hips to the side, keeping us our torso and upper body straight, or you can even rotate towards that hip that's turning. Then we go to the other side, keeping those hips going, and we're moving them to the other side. This is really good on a stool, corner of a bed, whatever. You should feel some stretch into here, maybe some groin stretch into the other side of the leg to get that going. So this is internal rotation. This is external rotation. And I'm kind of going back and forth, going back and through here, trying to get that rotation while I'm stopping the rotation from happening as well, doing that side. Some people do the rotation when you're laying on the floor like this, and you're just bringing it to the side and keeping that. That is a little bit more back rotation that you're getting. It feels sometimes good with that, but you're also getting some of the hips. If you can keep the hips on the ground when you're doing that, you're going to do a little bit better, or even crossing, bring it across, call that a pelvic twist or advanced pelvic twist. So the things you can be doing reps wise, we usually do 20 to 30 reps morning and evening, about 2 sets of that just to keep everything going. If there is any pain with it, just go before pain, but you would really want to hold those stretches a little bit longer, especially if you're really trying to get more rotation in there and not just do the 1 second, 1 second. So about 2 to 5 second holds. They're a good exercise for helping with hip rotation. It's as an exercise to maintain hip rotation. It doesn't increase hip rotation, but if you are interested, there's a 90-90 stretch that we increase hip rotation when we're sitting on the floor. So I can tell you about that. But I don't want too many eyes glazing over during my talk here, so I'm trying to keep everything fresh and informative. Anyway, I'm Shane Bills, Pro Action Health and Performance. Hopefully that'll help with your golf game. Remember, we get results, so you should too. Come see us, Pro Action Health and Performance in Canada, Ontario.
Well, Shane, thank you so much. You're our other golf pro. How to move your body around without breaking it or going slice. Thank you, sir. And next item is the Ad Hive. It's located midway through Ottawa. Great place to meet, grab a bite to eat, or you want to host a meeting, or you need an office space on the fly. We're going to go to Dwight and then Sam. Dwight, what's going on, sir?
Morning, everyone. Pretty cloudy, rainy, and not so nice Monday to start the week. But all has been well. It's been pretty busy. The summer season for vending and markets have been kicking into full swing the last little bit. This past Saturday, we were out at the 613 market. We also had Veg Fest going on too. So there's quite a few markets going on. But we're down at Lansdowne Pavilion. Lansdowne was again a busy spot for everyone to pop in. Seemed like it was going to be a quiet day, but it turned out to be extremely busy. Most of our patties are gone by the afternoon, and yeah, we've just been keeping quite abreast with reference to the markets and preps and doing pre-deliveries to clients too. So this coming week we have the relay market coming up, and
And Dwight, just so you know, your signal's dropping as you're talking. And he's frozen. And Dwight, we'll come back to you, and we'll head over to Sam. Just prior to heading over to Sam, Mike Wazowski. So if you need someone to do a stand-in, fill-in for you, Mike's available if the calendar suits, and he'll come in and do your piece. So your marketing must stay straight. Dwight, you're
just
back.
continue.
And Dwight is gone. Okay, Sam, over to you, sir.
Hopefully I'll stay on the whole time. Thank you, Bernie.
It happens.
Good
It
morning,
happens.
everyone. It does happen.
Sorry about that. I
There's-
got knocked out. We have the
Uh-oh.
lightning strike. It seems like I got talking.
Well, they still have power. That's a good sign.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess the lightning took everything out for a second. Yeah, but yeah, we have our upcoming market this weekend at Greeley, and we again be prepping with reference to meetings. Did nothing last week, but I had a drop off at Tony about a week ago for some chicken patties, and we had a big order that we did a delivery to a client for 5 boxes this past Saturday. But that's it for this coming week for us. And
I think the Zot from the heavens have found Dwight once again, and
we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Dwight. Appreciate that.
Lightning means that his income is about to go up.
I don't leave that alone.
I keep freezing. Is everything coming across?
No, you're staccato. You're a little bit here, a little bit there, but we know that you're going to be in Greeley. We're going to swing over to Sam now. Sam, take it
Good,
away,
that's
sir.
Thank you, Bernie. Sorry, Dwight. Sam Sturz Connected Cars here. There's my contact information in the chat. Dash cameras are my main thing, electronics in cars, but I also do minor repairs, oil changes, and brake jobs. And if you're around last week, I did a presentation on turbocharged engines and the extra care that you should have, or you should do if you own a vehicle with that kind of engine. And interesting enough, on Friday, I had a customer with let's say a performance vehicle, a BMW 330i, came in for an oil change. And I think Eric has 1 or 2 of those parked in his garage somewhere. He hides them out. But this is a kind of a performance vehicle, fairly expensive. Anyway, it came in for an oil change, and sure enough, the oil was a little, extra used. It was down a liter of oil, and well burnt up. And I tried to find out when he had the last oil change, and it was 18,000 kilometers ago. Now that's not a good idea for any engine, let alone an engine with a turbocharged engine. And I said, do you drive this car hard sometimes? And he says, well, yesterday I came back from Barry's Bay, which for those who don't know where Barry's Bay is to Ottawa, it's about a 3.5-hour drive if you hit the speed limits, probably a little faster, like he was saying he was doing. And then he just shut his engine off when he got home, which is another no-no to do with a car with a turbocharged engine. Anyway, I told him a little bit about the care that he needs to be doing. And he told me, well, how come the dealer didn't tell me that when he sold me the car? said they don't want to tell you the extra things you have to do because might turn you off on the buying of the vehicle. Anyway, lo and behold, I sent him information on it. He knows a little bit more about how to take care of his car, and hopefully those seals, the oil seals that might be giving up the ghost, last a little longer. That's an expensive vehicle to have to be replacing those turbocharged engines. Anyway, that's it for me when it comes to that. BAMS wise, I'm working with Rayo to get a chatbot on my website. I don't have access to it myself. My son's our website controller, so I'm trying to turn it over to our son to work with him. But our son is getting married next weekend, so he's a kind of a busy guy right now. So anyway, hopefully I'll get that done. That's it for me. Sam Sturris, connectedcars.ca. Today's mobile electronics about the cost of the vehicle and a lot about turbocharged engines.
Sam, thank you so much. So if you have an event that you want posted or let everybody made aware of, just follow the path here. There's a link to getting it posted on the website. Tony, over to you. What's happening?
No, what's that? Oh, jeez.
He's disappearing. He's coming back.
Oh boy. Okay. No, just trying to get my other thing through, but I guess there's too much of a link for it to go through. Hi everybody, Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I am a medium and clairvoyant, and I'm a master at calming energies down. When people come in and they say, I am confused, or I am off, it's not really what's happening, because our natural state is we are calm, we are happy, we are prosperous, we are all these great things. It's the energies that is attached to us that makes us feel that we are like that. One of the things I love about Scotland and other areas in that the way they talk is that sadness is upon me. They don't say that I'm sad, which is exactly the way that it works. When we have sadness that is attached to you, it's because you saw something and an energy has attached to you and you feel down. That's why in a breakup, when somebody leaves in a relationship, we feel that we're rejected, we feel that maybe we did something wrong, or we feel sad about their relationship or whatever, is that we feel that energy still on there. And sometimes even after a month, 2 months, or 6 months later, we still feel that we're missing something. And all that means is that the other person is feeling the same thing, and you are feeling their energy. So that's how powerful we are, is that sometimes when you think you've gotten, have passed it, but it's still sort of hanging on, it's because they're hanging on and you're feeling it. So that's when people come in for a reading and know that, he says, oh, you mean this isn't mine? And I go, no, your part of it has already gone through, but you're feeling that they perhaps made a mistake by leaving, and they don't know how to save face by saying, look, I screwed up. Is there any way we can maybe try this again? And some people just don't do that. And but if you have that kind of a feeling, come in for a reading. Within an hour and a half, we could certainly take care of that. I have tuning forks that will take those energies off you, so you'll feel lighter. That's why people feel lighter when they leave, because those energies are no longer on them because they have such a high frequency. So Tony Jennis from Higher Self, we are here to raise your spirits. And did some business with Susan McGarry. It's always great to have somebody really far away when I have to pick up my stuff. She's out by Calabogie, and I was able to jump on my motorcycle on the weekend and pick up my order. I was so happy to. So, when people say, yeah, you can pick up your order and they're next door, it's not really that big of a deal for me. I like them when they're far away. That's sort of a nice sell for me. Had a BAM with Dwight. He came, dropped off some patties. Thanks a lot, Dwight, for that. By the way, the ladies love them, absolutely love them. They said, Tony, why did you do it? I says, I don't know. I just had the feeling I needed to do something for the ladies in my life. It was an oddball Tuesday. And it's when we celebrate things like that, is that's when they really take note. So my wife and my daughter-in-law, they enjoyed your patties. So thank you. We also had a quick conversation about his business and so on. So I was in front of the door longer than I figured. So I call that a zabam. And I sent some business to Redmond. He's doing a will for one of my clients, and he's doing a will for my mom. So that she's gonna get all that. And that's it for me, Bernie.
Tony, thank you so much. So, if you know someone that is into the providing home security, basically electronic monitoring, cameras, that type of stuff, have them reach out to Penny Lee. Not that she needs it; it's more that we need it inside our community, our business community. And for myself, I'll keep it short because we're at 8:43, and so I connect people. A quick, short synopsis. I connect people. I meet most interesting individuals, hence Angela being here today. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Knack for Business podcast, interesting stories in that space. Property Wizard podcast. That's about understanding investing inside the commercial real estate and the pros and cons. And sometimes you'll hear about some of the cons that Eric talks about if you're doing residential and you're doing it under your own name and not being a separate corp. There's more stories to that. East Trade Winds, the link to the YouTube channel is there. And now what? Now it's over to Angela. Angela's over in the UK. Wonderful human being. And you know what? I'm not going to steal any of her thunder because we already have enough of it around here. Angela, over to you.
So am I doing just my little pitchy bit or the normal bit, what I've come for?
Two, you're doing both. You're doing both.
Oh, I'm doing both. Okay.
Tell us what you do, because I know you got a couple things on the go, and also about your book.
So I won't go into too much detail on all the things I do. Typically, when I come to networking, I talk about the day job, which is my kinesiology practice, where I work with people wherever they're at right now to help them feel better, be better, and do better. So whether that is they're bogged down with baggage, with trauma, with feeling not great, whatever the meh feeling is, and we work through that and help people just to get to that point of being more comfortable in their own skin and doing what they want to do and achieving what they want to achieve. And at the moment, I do talk about snot monsters. So I'm looking for people with allergies and hay fever and all that horrible yuckiness where they're carrying around the bucket for the amount of snot that they're actually expelling. So it's helping people to process that in their system better, to not necessarily rely on all of the paraphernalia that comes with hay fever and being able to open their windows. I did mention earlier on, we don't tend to do air conditioning here in Scotland, so we do have windows open more often. That might not be as much of a challenge for you guys, but you might still want to venture outdoors and pollen can really affect people. So if you know anyone in that situation where pollen is really bothering them, and it doesn't have to be people in Scotland, I can work internationally, wherever they are, to help their bodies to process that a little bit easier. So that's my usual day job. Shall I talk about the book now? Is that the right way to go?
Absolutely. It's your show. Go for it.
Right. Oh, don't give me the power. So there we go. So I'll start with a wee show of hands. How many of you have downloaded a meditation app to your phone or device and then never used it after that first week? I know that's definitely me. So I wrote this book that I'm going to be talking about because I was looking for options around meditation, for calm, for that process of just settling my thoughts down, being in the present moment. And meditation wasn't doing it for me. And I was finding that the app I did download, the amount of different voices I tried to get me to a point of calm was ridiculous. Nothing seemed to be doing the trick. I then went hunting, and the only things I really found were the meditation apps or guided meditations that you could watch and listen to on YouTube. And again, that really wasn't doing it for me. Alternatively, I could do some colouring in books. Now, colouring in books worked for me while I was at university and at high school. And I think it was a Tom and Jerry colouring in book I had in my late teen years. And that was really good for just that mindfulness of, and before we talked about that word, and just getting myself a little bit more settled, a little bit more calm, and able to focus again back on studying and schoolwork. And I found that was really useful. However, I don't always have 2 or 3 hours to sit down with the really complicated looking colouring in books that are doing the rounds at the moment, just to have that complete space. So I was looking for options that were going to be quick fixes, help me get through what I needed to get through to find that calm in a way that worked for me. And I just didn't find it. So therefore, I thought, why not do it myself? So I did create the book. It's called Snap Into Calm. And it's a way of doing something that is a little bit different, but it still helps you keep in the moment. The reason I've gone down this route was when I was trying to work out what would work for me, I remembered that what does work for me whenever anyone asked me about self-care was to go out with my camera and take photographs. And I didn't have to be taking photographs to then put them on the wall, as this one here is, which is also the back of the book. I didn't do it with the purpose of looking for something really pretty. I just did it for the purpose of slowing down, looking through the viewfinder or at the screen if it's on my phone, and seeing what I could put in the frame and what I could capture. So that's where this idea came from. So this is my first grown-up adventure book. When we're kids, we're always doing adventure books and we're doing different fun things and we're going out doing scavenger hunts and all these different activities. But as grown-ups, we don't give ourselves permission to play and we don't give ourselves permission to go and explore and have fun. So this is where this idea came from. And there's even a little box at the front of the book where you can put your name in with the whole "this book belongs to" section on it. So the point of this was I don't have 2 hours to sit down and do a colouring in page. I don't necessarily have 20 minutes and peace and quiet to sit down and do a guided meditation or whatever that entails. What I need is something quick, if I need it quick, but also the option to make it last a little bit longer if that's what I require. And I was finding that the apps weren't sticking. I was too busy. And when I'm talking to other people, I can't possibly give all that time to self-care. I'm too busy. So the tips and tricks in this take up to 5 minutes. If you want them to take up to 5 minutes, you can do it quicker, or it can take a couple of hours. So it's totally down to the individual. So this is the grown-up adventure method. I'm still working on what other adventures we could put into here, but at the moment it's with photography. And the point of it is take your phone or your camera if you so choose and go outside. Just looking around and seeing what there is. Inside the book, there are 12 different themed adventures. Each adventure has 30 prompts, and that is for you to go out and decide, today I'm just going to get one. I'm going to pick up one on the list, and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go and find that one prompt to see what I can find and take a photograph. Or I'm going to take that one prompt and I'm going to take 10 photographs in totally different ways to fill the brief of that prompt. So for a little bit of a mini demo, there's a texture space, or one of the adventures about texture. So can you look around your space right now for something that's got some texture on it? And just take a notice to see what's caught your eye. Why did it catch your eye? What is the texture? And what have you noticed? And then how could you possibly take a photograph of that to still evoke that texture and that noticing and whatever it is that's come to mind? Now that's probably taken, what, 30, 60 seconds? Wasn't a long process. But also what that's done is it's calmed the mind down. You're not thinking about your to-do list. You're not thinking about the conversation you've just had or rehearsing a conversation you're about to have. You're in the moment, you're in the present. And you might get a nice picture out of it. So the aim of this isn't about what you're going to do with the photographs. However, there's a section in the book that explains what you could do with the photographs at the end of it. The aim of this is to get into that present moment, calm yourself down and be completely here right now with whatever the here and the now is, and notice what there is to notice. So in there, we've got urban wandering. So if you're in the middle of a city, fantastic. Go and have a wander around and fill the prompts based on the urban stuff. There's also the weather. Now, I know in the UK, we love talking about weather. You guys are fortunate that you actually have very, very variable weather. And there's lots of options there as to what you can capture with weather. We're also both all from very fortunate places, Canada, Scotland. The landscape, the nature is stunning. So if you do want to go a little bit further afield, there's so much opportunity there to get some really cracking images if your focus is to then do something with them. However, you could still just go for that really beautiful walk and get little detailed shots and really interesting information that then either is just there as a remembering for you to look at the things that you've taken photographs of, or it could be something that you want to put up on the wall in the house or give as gifts. So the beauty of this is you get to calm down, you get to be in the present moment, and you could get some really pretty pictures at the end of it. So that's pretty much what the premise of the book is. You don't need to be a professional photographer. There's tips in the book as to what to do to hopefully make your photos a little bit uplifted from the level that you're currently at. But it's not about the quality of the photograph. It's about what are you framing and what moment are you capturing? And hopefully it's the one that you're living in right now. So hopefully that explains all. It is available on Amazon. I do have a link that takes you to whichever Amazon store you are around the world. So that shouldn't hopefully be a blocker to getting out. And it is a paperback book because the point of it is to get out there with a pen, with your book, and with your phone, and that's all you need. Scribble it, throw things in it, capture little leaves or whatever else. But the point of my idea of the scavenger hunt is that we're not taking anything with us and we're not leaving anything behind other than memories and photographs. So that's it. So any questions?
First off, Angela, thank you so much. And I do like the idea. A lot of meditation sometimes is to focus on, something that's happening, your breathing cycle, whatever. What does your hand feel like, right? As opposed now you're just taking it away to something visual. You take a picture of it. That's cool. Does anybody have a question?
What was the name of your book again, Angela?
It's called Snap into Cam. So it's using photography to escape your busy mind. And the tagline is my first grown-up adventure book. So yes, Snap into Cam is the name of the book. I will pop it in the chat as well as a link to connect with me if you would like to do so.
That's perfect.
There we go.
And the price of the book is it's under $15.
So it was, unfortunately we've missed the introduction offer, so the introductory price has now finished. So I believe it's 24.27 Canadian dollars. So it's just gone over the £10 mark in the UK, and it automatically moves the prices around. So yes, 24.27 I believe is the
Okay.
Canadian price.
Price of an app. Except you get to keep this one. You can change your phone or your camera.
And if you do one prompt a day, you've got 360 prompts in there to get you through the year. So yeah.
Excellent. So if they want to follow up, is there contact details inside the book? Also,
So there's contact details in the book. There's the links to the websites. I've also popped my LinkedIn link on in the chat, and I can pop it onto your LinkedIn live as well.
Perfect. Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Angela, thank you for coming in today, and you brighten the day because it be raining here and thundering. I'm sitting here, all of a sudden I hear the klaxon. That's it. That's the book.
There we go. Press the right button now. There we go.
So the quote for the day: one way to keep momentum going is to have constantly greater goals. And that's Michael Korda.